Let's go straight to the full screen here. ESPN took a by-the-numbers look around the SEC, and here's what they found with Tennessee. Returning production on offense and defense and special teams, how they factored it, I don't know. They say 51% is back. That is a tie for 13th out of 16 teams in the SEC. Not great. The interesting thing there, though, in terms of returning production, the other teams that are down there at the bottom with you, Texas, Georgia, and Ole Miss. So it's four pretty good teams there, including you from last year, who've lost a lot of production. Returning offensive production, only 39% returns. That is dead last in the SEC. Strength of schedule, you get the 15th toughest, so it's the second easiest schedule to Missouri. Projected SEC wins, they're saying you're going to go 5-3, which is the sixth best, which means, of course, the predicted finish in the SEC is sixth for Tennessee, which is better than what you had at SEC Media Days, USA Today, Sports Illustrated, who had you 9th, 10th, and 11th. And there's your poll question. Go ahead and keep playing. Tell us what you think. 88-12. I just have a hard time believing there aren't more than 12% out there who say, we need the talent. What are we doing with this culture crap? But right now it's 88-12, so let's see. Here's the question about all that. Does that look right to you, Bob, those numbers that you just saw in terms of finishing sixth as compared to, I mean, your 13th, you get the 15th, you get the second easiest schedule. At the same time, you're dead last in terms of offensive production returning. You're way low in terms of overall production returning. So it turns out sixth in the SEC, better than those other players. Where are you? Good with sixth?
I would think that is fair. And when we talked about it last week, I thought, okay, it's also fair to have them down there around 10th or 11th. I think Tennessee has a wide range because there are, as those numbers showed, so many questions about this team that you have to answer. Only 39% of your offensive production. Wow, that's low. I mean, that is a low number. And so I think that to me is on the good end for this team because that probably gets you a 9-3 record, probably gets you a top 20 ranking. Not bad for a year where you're doing a lot of rebuilding. So I think it's fair.
I think it's very fair. Now, getting into the rest of the SEC, here's the reason why it was a little surprising to me. Those metrics that they laid out in return, do you know who they have winning and finishing in first place in the SEC this year? Which is not crazy, but Alabama. Not Georgia, not Texas. So when I saw that they had Tennessee with 5 wins, 5-3 in conference play, finishing sixth this year with some of the different shuffling pieces they have on their chessboard, I said, all right, awesome. That's real positive for, as you pointed out, Sports Illustrated, everything else. But seeing who they had and how they had them ranked, I was very taken back by, not only was it unique, it was very unique top to bottom, in my opinion, when it came to the conference as a whole.
Yeah, the schedule, I think, is what brings the most confidence. Like you asked earlier about the perfect storm, and it still could play out that way. Part of my hesitation was this schedule. They play the bottom 4 teams projected in the SEC. Now, that doesn't mean the schedule's easy. It's just favorable compared to the other teams they're playing. Going to Mississippi State, Tennessee better be ready for that game because Jeff Lebby was competitive in Knoxville with his backup quarterback against Tennessee last season. So Arkansas showed us last year, no guarantees. But the schedule lays out comfortably. And in some spots, like Mike Matthews being a year older, he could be more productive this year 2 at wide receiver than a lot of what Tennessee got last year. So those kinds of things can help. I trust in the running game with Josh Heupel that they can find success there, even if they have to replace Dylan Sampson. But the challenges are also pretty obvious, starting at quarterback with what they have to get figured out. We got a little extra time here. I was going to do this. You just mentioned Matthews. In terms of guys, you see so little production coming back. So let me ask you, this was going to be a whole other segment, but just very quickly. If you had to choose one of these guys to be more important, if you could make one of them step up over what we saw last year in their first year after transferring, Lance Hurd or Chris Brazzell, who do you need a better step forward from?
Lance Hurd, pun intended, step forward footwork.
Okay.
I'm going to go Lance Hurd as well.
Hurd for sure.
I'm going to go Chris Brazzell, and here's why. If you catch one extra deep ball a game, it changes your whole season. Every game is different last year. If you throw an extra touchdown on there, teams are going to have to play you differently. If you're back to where you were in the Hendon Hooker years, or even halfway back, then I think you've taken a step forward as an offense. And that's one. There were plays last year to be made where Hurd and Campbell held up. Nico had the time, either overthrew his receiver or his receiver dropped the deep ball.
And if he had an extra half second, he could have just been a little better on that. Okay. Go back to Lance.
I think everybody would go Lance Hurd, but I'm going to go Chris Brazzell because I think one deep ball a game, and I think it's that easy. That's what you're looking at. Get those big plays back. If you had 12 more big plays last year, big 30-yard pass plays, instead of having 15 on the year, you'd have had 27. That would have been more. That would have been 9 more than you had under Milton, and you had 40 under Hooker. That's a huge difference.
You certainly beat Arkansas.
You know, the only reason I disagree
On
with
deep
you,
ball.
because you've got other options that maybe step up instead of Brazel.
Yeah, but
to take care of that. You have no other options for Lance Hurd.
Sure you do. You've got David Sanders at right tackle.
He's
You've
already
got-
playing.